Welcome to the first project of this series of 3 landscapes that I created just for you. I'm Lydia Panart and I'm so thrilled to be here with you. This first project is based on a photograph of a landscape taken by Somner. Somner is the daughter of a student of mine, and she was so kind to lend it to me. I found really interesting to be able to teach you how to develop clouds in a more expressive way using the brush or palette knife with different techniques so you feel comfortable, how to deal with the water, how to deal with the foam and the rock. So you have different aspects of the landscape and that I would like to introduce, especially for you, to guide you to get a sense of depth. Because we're working now in a smaller area, so the brushes that we're going to use, they are not going to be wide. For this size, we can have this maybe a 2-inch synthetic brush, flat, 1-inch synthetic, flat brush. I love for this, just to do sketches, the round brush. This is still synthetic. And I will explain why the difference in synthetic and bristle. And then we have a couple of bristles that bristle brush, they're a little bit, well, it's real hair, so it's rougher, and it's 1 inch as well, and another one small. You will need as well, in this case, for the rocks and to do the foam, palette knives. I have a bag full of palette knives that I've been collecting for many years. But just to give you an idea, palette knives come in different shapes and sizes because it's for the different uses that you're gonna do. This is a little bit smaller, same, wider surface when you can do, I will show it to you in those 3 landscapes. Then you have like a diamond shape, which is great to work, like this with the edge or smaller details. And they can have diamond or a variety, right? Or variation, that's what I want to say. A variation of different sizes. This is the photograph. I printed it out just for me because I'm teaching. But normally what I do in Zoom is have my phone or my iPad with a photograph there. So you don't have to print it because when you print a hard copy, colors also change. The goal is not to paint a mere copy of the photograph. It's just I want to teach you how to react to it and interpret it. You will start finding your own language, your own style. I cannot hold your hand, but showing certain techniques to give you the tools to do it. But you will make also your own decisions. So let's go and paint. All right. The canvas, either the canvas or the canvas board, they come primed. However, I recommend start with a coat of gessos. So this is the color. You see, it's a little bit more gray compared to the regular gesso, and I will show to you the difference. But in our case, you see how white it is? But in our case, it doesn't matter because of all the colors of the photograph. I don't need to have a white, completely white background. So I'm using the brush that is white, it's synthetic. Why synthetic? Because allows me to make smooth brush work. That's the difference between synthetic brush and bristle brush. So you don't have to paint like a wall like this, right? It looks fabulous, but we don't need that because it's a background. So I'm not using water, and I move the brush in different directions. Again, no water. The gesso has a nice fluidity. Right, I go back and forth a little bit more. And just to reach the bottom, I rotate it. All right, first layer, how to paint the background. There's not only one way to paint the background or to start a painting. So you can actually divide it, where is the line of the horizon, and you can start with one color directly and nothing down in the lower part, or you paint the whole thing, or you add texture. So there are different ways. So I'm going to have enough space for the water and the rocks. Mixing, right, the Prussian blue with the white, no water at this point. I use water when I need to, the paint is too thick, or it helped me out to extend the paint on the canvas. And I start with different strokes. I'm going to do a little bit darker as I go into the corners. I want to create that sense of depth, making the line of the horizon, the blues, a little bit lighter as I go towards the horizon line. Because it's water, I'm trying, as you can see, the strokes are more horizontal than with the sky. I had more flexibility. So don't be afraid if you need to come back. Because all these questions are, that's why I'm answering all that, just not to feel that bad about it. First step. Okay, so next step, clouds. We're going to tackle from the top to the bottom. So if you look at the image, there are some clouds bigger and wider on the top part, and then comes together closer to the middle part of the sky, getting more purplish, close to the line of the horizon. So I would rather use this type of brush, the synthetic one, flat, and the round one. Just for me, just to blend them. See that I have now less paint on my brush, which is perfect. Once I have them like that, always put the brush into the water. I work with this brush now. So put pressure just to get exactly right what the photograph is about. It's just to get the feeling of it. Next step, we're going to look at the photograph, and we have a coast, right? So the first one, very far away, is closest on the line of the horizon. And then we have another one that gets passing the middle, right, of the canvas. And then that is a little bit darker. And then we have one closer to us with the coast. I'm going to put on my palette raw amber and the purple, the violet, right? Making it lighter. I'm going to try to make it a little bit darker, okay, than the color that I put here on the cloud. And I'm changing the color, as you see. I'm working now with the warmth color, so it has a little bit more of raw amber inside. Almost disappearing. I will continue that, with the water then, if I need to touch up anything. Clean my brush. So we will continue with the second coast, and then we have the third one, and then we have the sand. Yeah. Sometimes I use the tip of the brush. Concentrate on the water. As you see, I'm dividing all the steps and the different layers, just to make it easier. A little bit of Prussian blue. I will have the white as well, because sometimes I need the white. You can see. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Have the water container and the palette knife. I'm going to dip the palette knife So then I'm going to start flat, right? See, touch, remove. Highlights. All right, now we're almost getting to the end. So these are the rocks, the part that we have to concentrate on the rock. So one of the things that I would like to do is make a transition between the water and the paddles. As you can see, the paddles are darker because it's the reflection of the sky and also because they are rocks, dark rocks, on that area. Anyway, so that's what I would like to do. And then we can review if we need to add certain highlights or accents, but it will be just done. All the rest, to me, it's just part of reflections on this in the sky. So the Prussian blue and the raw amber, see, you can incorporate in some parts, right? But I don't want to touch so much. A little bit of raw amber. Hopefully it's that, yeah. All right. So if you step back now and you take a look at your painting and said, okay, do I have a sense of depth? Do the rocks are well done, on the foreground? They're darker compared to all the coast that it starts becoming lighter, and thinner as it goes towards the line of the horizon. The value of the water, darker to lighter, right? See, it picks up like, some highlights there, or you can do with a palette knife. It's the only thing if you want to see some shimmering, right? Barely having, and you do this. You can cover it. And it's... Thank you so much for being part of my first project, this landscape. I hope you enjoyed it so much as I did. I hope you understand that it's all about process here. You can't start a painting thinking about the end result. It's all about layering. It's problem solving. It's all about understanding, putting yourself out there. It's not just copying the photograph. The photograph has to tell you something, because what you are trying to do is not reproduce exactly what you see. It's just what you feel about it. So I want you to understand that, and I would love if I did a good job. Just send me an email to my info@lydiapanart.com. Tell me how you felt. If you start a new project, you can shoot me some images, if you need some help. And I look forward to seeing you in the next project. I will challenge you, same as what I do with my students, but it just empower you. I want you to know that this is possible, that you can do it, and I will make it easy for you. Thank you so much.